we'll go to the number 8 team, the Texas Longhorns. They barely survive against a Houston Cougars team who really isn't very good. They win it 31-24, a bit of a controversial ending. Longhorns were up by 7, and Houston looked to have gotten a first down on 3rd and short. The official marks it, about a half yard short, because watching this team today, they were up 21-0, and they blew the entire lead in a quarter. And I was like, this defense isn't what I thought they were. The team isn't what I thought they were. And Quinn Ewers, at the time that they were up 21-0, and then even the time that they were tied, he had 1 incompletion the entire game. He was 21 for 22 at the time that they came back. Now, I don't know what he finished, but he did get injured in the game, and it appears to be an AC joint injury, which is the same type of injury that he had last year, and that caused him to miss a couple weeks. He's going to miss a couple weeks here. Texas doesn't have the most difficult schedule, but if they want to have any shot to make the college football playoff, they have to win out. Now, if you were Sark, and in this game, they went to Maalik Murphey, the true backup. Obviously, Arch Manning sits in the waiting room as being a red shirt, but you could always burn the red shirt. And I will say this, from what I saw, they couldn't, they basically scrapped the passing game when Maalik Murphy came in the game. They couldn't throw the ball. They ran the ball. They were tied, and on the final drive, they essentially just ran the zone read every single play, and Jonathan Brooks took him down the field, and then C.J. Baxter scored a touchdown, the freshman 5-star running back out of Texas.
Yeah.
So would you stick with the guy if he can't throw, or would you give Arch Manning a shot at this point?
I think most people would say give Arch Manning a shot, but I would probably, not to say that really only Sark knows the answer to that question. I think he's an idiot. But my whole point is, I don't know how ready Arch Manning is for college football. Obviously, he's an elite prospect. If you saw any of the videos of the teams he was playing in New Orleans, or right, I think New Orleans, he was in that private school league there. I mean, they look like bad Texas JV football teams. And he's running around, and kids are going 2 miles an hour, and it's just, I get that he has all the attributes. I get that he has the last name. I think he will be very good, but he's just very young. So it's I don't know if you burn the red shirt to bring a kid in who might throw picks. And here's the thing, what I'm also getting at is Texas really doesn't even need to throw it. If they want to win games, they just keep it on the ground with Brooks. And if you got a running back, if you got a quarterback that comes in that can run that zone read and that option game with him, and just make those go ball throws when he needs to occasionally to those big player receivers, that might be better than bringing in a young Arch Manning to try to, in the middle of the season, try to navigate,
that's a tough spot to come into.
Win a few more games and then beat Oklahoma in the, Big 12 championship. But it is an interesting question, but I just don't. And one more thing about Texas, we talk about how loaded the defense is, how talented the defense is, and we've talked a little bit about this. But once again, I hate to go back to Michigan, but it's Houston would not score 14 points on. They could probably play for 8 quarters and they wouldn't score more than 14 points. Yeah. So it's just, Michigan State in that game didn't have I think they crossed midfield late in the third and in the fourth quarter when Michigan had all their walk-ons, and they flashed a stat with 8 minutes left of the game that every uniform player on the sideline played with 8 minutes to go in the game.
That's
Michigan.
Absurd. Has that ever happened in a football game?
I don't know. Michigan's probably done it a few times this year. I don't know. But like I said, Jim Harbaugh leaves he puts in the third string guys that are all super talented and runs basically a hurry up offense up 42. And they were snapping the ball with 23 on the play clock.
It's wild.
Oh my God.
It's wild, dude. If Michigan doesn't win a national championship this year, they may never win.
Yeah,
one.
I agreed. They're not going to.
Yeah, and the one thing I'll say back to Texas is the only thing that I don't like is that, to me, and I don't know. I haven't seen Arch Manning practice. I haven't seen him against collegiate competition in the a Power 5 conference. But to me, it does slightly feel like Sark doesn't want to play him out of the fact that, like, Ewers is his guy. And if Arch goes in and does poorly, now that's not a good sign for his job security, because essentially people think he's attached to Sark. Like, Sark gets fired, they're going to lose him, so he's keeping his job based on keeping him. So if he goes out there and looks bad, then what? And number two, if he looks good, now you have a controversy on your hands when Ewers does come back, which is why, a couple times this season when they've been up big, it's been Maalik Murphy every single time. But my only thing that I'm curious is like, okay, if you're playing in any of these games and Maalik Murphy doesn't look good and you're losing, right? You have to be open to the option of playing it, unless he just looks horrific in practice, unless it's just clear to Sark that he's not ready. Because to me, there have been plenty of quarterbacks who come as true freshmen and go in games. Caleb Williams did it. He came in the Texas OU game and never played before. I understand now he's great, but nobody knew that at the time. I mean, he comes in as a true freshman off the bench and takes Spencer Rattler, who everybody thought was the number 1 overall pick's job, and wins the game against Texas, comes back down 21. So to me, I just wish, it feels like when I watch those games when they're up big, he's reluctant to put Arch Manning in. And, I get the redshirt thing, but if he's as good as everybody thinks, he's not going to be there for 4 years anyway. You're not going to need to save a year of eligibility. So it's just like, I would like him to be open to it. I'm just going to be so frustrated as a Texas fan if Quinn is out for 3 weeks and we're watching this team losing to BYU or tied with BYU or, down to TCU at home. It's like, try something, and he never does.
There's other dynamics in it, too. You make a good point about Sark not wanting a controversy and just saying, oh, no, I have him in my back pocket,
right,
so I have job security. A lot of times, man, and, I mean, look at the Manning family from the beginning. They basically told San Diego that Eli Manning wasn't going to go there. Okay?
Right.
Like, they call shots and do what they want. They could be the ones saying, oh, no, if they don't think he's fully ready to play,
that's true.
They could be the ones saying, "No, you're not going to burn his red shirt. He's not playing this year.
Yeah.
No matter what."
Yeah.
I mean, and that could be behind the scenes very much what's going on.
That's a great
too.
point. I didn't think about that.
And I don't know if that's what's going on, but I'm just saying the Manning family's in control and they're doing whatever they want with him there. So if they don't think he's ready, they're not gonna.
Great point.
And Peyton, loves the baptism by fire, throwing guys in there because he wants someone in the NFL to break his pick record, and he says, "Oh, that's the only way you learn," in the NFL. But they're not gonna throw Arch Manning in there this year. I'd be very surprised.
I think you're right.
But it's an interesting point. I mean, if you're down and you think he can bring you back, then
Right.
it's why not. But I do think that that's a strong possibility that he's not going to play this year.